Security. Email is nothing but electronic mail which is heavily used in network applications. It provides various services over email. Confidentiality. Confidence is nothing but privacy. Thus no one should read the message except the recipient. Authentication. The recipient should know exactly who the sender is. Integrity. The recipient should be able to tell whether the message was altered during transmission. Non-repudiation. Recipient can prove that the sender really sent the message or not. Otherwise, we can say assurance that someone cannot deny something. Proof of submission. Verification to the sender that the mailer got the mail or not. Proof of delivery. Verification to sender that the recipient got it. Message flow confidentiality. The eavesdropper cannot determine the sender's identity. Anonymity. Hiding the sender details. Otherwise, the recipient does not know who the sender is. Containment. Ability to maintain the network security. That is, to keep secure messages from leaking out. Audit. Logging of events having relevance to security. Self-destruct. The message is destroyed while delivery. Message sequence. So it will intimate the missing of any sequence of informations while transmission. Attacks of emails. One is phishing attack. Phishing of attack means attempt to find out the information by means of finding the username, password, either by means of directly or indirectly. Then malware distribution. Third one is spam attack. Spam attack is nothing but the junk mail attack which we are receiving during opening of your mail ID. Denial of secure attack. The attacker will send the bulk of mails either in order to make overflow or to crash the informations of the recipient. So now we are going to discuss one of the email security, that is PGP. PGP is pretty good privacy. So it will provide authentication and confidentiality for email and file storage applications. It was developed by the Phil Zimmermann. So it selected best available crypto algorithms which is integrated into a single program. It can operate on various platforms like Windows, Unix, total informations and transmitter to the receiver. In the receiver, it is going to be decompressed, and by decreasing informations, we are going to decrypt the encryption messages using the public key of the source A, and now we are going to compare the hash value, the appending hash value and the original hash value. If both are same, that means the message, there is no any modifications in the message. So here the authentication is achieved. So these are the various steps followed in authentications. First one, the sender will create a message. Then after that, using SHA algorithm, a hash code is going to be generated using hash function. The hash code is encrypted with the RSA algorithm using the sender's private key, and the result is going to be attached with the original plain text message. The receiver uses RSA or DSS algorithm with sender's public key to decrypt and recover the hash code. The receiver will generate new hash code for the received message and compares with the decrypted hash code. If it both are matched, then the message is accepted as authentic. How here the confidentiality is failed. So in order to achieve the confidentiality, so the message is going to be first compressed, then it is going to encrypt using the session key, then the session key is going to be encrypted using the public key of receiver, and it is going to be appended. The appended information is going to be transmitted and received at the receiver side. The message here, the encrypted session key is once again is fed to the decryption, and it is going to be decrypted using the private key of P, and we are going to extract the session key, and it is decoded along with the decrypt along with the message. So after that it is going to be decompressed and the original information is going to be extracted. So here the confidentiality is going to be achieved. But the authentication is the various steps followed during this confidentiality is the sender will generate the message and random 128-bit number to be used as session key for this message only. The message is encrypted using cast 128 or ID8 or triple S with session key. The session key is encrypted using RSA algorithm with recipient's public key then attached to the message. The receiver uses RSA algorithm with its private key to decrypt and recover the session key. Finally, the session key is used to decrypt the original message. How we are going to achieve both authentication and confidentiality? Here the message first we are going to combine the authentication and confidentiality here. First the message is sending to the hash function. The hash function will provide hash code, which is the digest code. Then it is going to be encrypted using the private key of A. Then it is appending with the message. After this appending, we are going to send to the compressing stage. After compressing, it is going to be encrypted using session key. This session key is once again encrypted using the public key of recipient, and it is going to be added with the encrypted compressed information. So at the receiver it is going to be decrypted using the private key of the recipient, and we are going to extract the session key, and the session key is going to be decrypted and finally sent to the decompression stage. There we are going to have the information, there is message information. Once again, the hash function, in order to extract the hash code, the encrypted hash function is decrypted using the public key of A, and it is compared with the hash code of this message. So the appended hash code and the message code is going to be compared. Here we are going to achieve both authentication and confidentiality. So we uses both services on same message. So that means we are going to create signature and attach to message. Encrypt both message and signature. Attach RSA encrypted session key also. These three things we are going to done. So by default, PGP compresses the messages after signing but before encrypting. So one can store uncompressed message and signatures. So this is done by means of using Radix 64 algorithm. So it will make 3 bytes to 4 printable characters. Also it will append a cyclic redundancy codes also. Also the PGP will segment the messages if it is too long. So the PGP will subdivide the original messages if the length is greater than 50,000 octets, which is too large, too small enough to send via email. On the receiving, the PGP reassembles the entire original block. So this is the segmentation and reassembly operations which is performed in PGP. So the various contents here is the message, digital signature and session key component. Okay, the message contains the information data along with the timestamp and the file name. So in digital signature, we can achieve digital signature by means of encrypting this message with the private key of sender. So it contains message digest. That is, we are going to use some hash functions. So the hash functions will produce a message digest along with the ID of sender's public key and timestamp. It is sent to the session key. Session key will contain the recipient's public key, and session key. So these are the various operations performed in PGP. PGP session keys. It needs a session key for each. Actually, this PGP needs a session key for each messages of various sizes we can use. We can use 56-bit DES, 120-bit cast or IDA, 168-bit triple DES we can use. Actually, this is going to be generated by means of using ANSI X12.17 mode standards. ANSI standard uses random inputs taken from previous users and from keystroke timing of users. So we are going to use public and private key here. So we are going to use many public keys and many private keys. Okay, it is used in order to identify which is actually used to encrypt the session key in a message. So this could be could send full public key with every message, but it is inefficient. So rather uses a key identifier based on key. We are going to use least significant 64 bits of the key will be likely be unique. Also, we are going to use key identity in signatures. PGP key rings. Each PGP user has a pair of key rings. One is public key ring and one is private key rings. This public key rings contains all the public keys of other PGP users known to the users indexed by the key identity. The private key ring contains the public or private key pairs for this users indexed by the key identity and encrypted key from the hashed passphrase. PGP key management. Rather than providing CA, in PGP every user has its own certificate authorities. It can sign keys for users they know directly. So actually it is in the forms of web of trust. So the trust keys will always be signed. The trust keys when the others are signed if have a chain of signature to them. Key rings only includes the trust indicators also. The users can also revoke the keys. So next